What is up, folks? Welcome back to Love for G.T.S. We are now away from the tabletop, out at the range with the M&P 2.0 metal, and we'll shoot that alongside the compact carry comp. And yeah, I know it's a chore, but hitting that like and subscribe keeps the two-way content being recommended to you, and it tells YouTube that we want to see this type of content.
We do not sell firearms or firearm accessories. This is for entertainment and informational purposes only. All shooting is done on a safe range in a safe environment. All weapon safety checked, clear, and pointed in a safe direction. Safety is key.
All right, now that we kind of got that out the way for YouTube, of course, because YouTube. Let's get a feel for the gun. Slide actually feels pretty damn good. Always got to check the trigger. That reset is pretty nice, even though it's not that audible, not the most tactile, but feels pretty good. And for me, I always start out shooting at about 7 yards. That allows me to get a pretty good feel for the gun and check out the sights, see how they line up. If you've been shooting for a while, you know some guns, you line up the 3 dots and you actually put the dots directly on the point of aim. There are some where you aim directly, where you put the sights below the point of aim, and that gives you the perfect target. And then there are some where you actually have to slightly raise the front dot below the rear sights. So always good to know how your gun points. First shots, color me impressed. All right, so let's go ahead and do second mag and see how we fare. And of course, we did take the target out a little bit further on this one. So far, the recoil impulse feels good, and I think they sprung the gun pretty well, actually. All right, now this is not necessarily a comparison video, but I am shooting both of these M&P 2.0s. This is going to be the compact carry comp. We'll look at kind of how the shooting profile is on that one, or the recoil, muzzle rise, and all that kind of stuff. Since I already had the compact carry comp, I figured I'd shoot them side by side and kind of see if there are any differences between the aluminum frame metal and the carry comp, which is polymer frame. I was shooting right there between the arm here and at 10 yards. Grouping looks pretty good on there. All right, we'll put another magazine through the 2.0 metal, and then we'll get to the tabletop and kind of talk over the gun and get some final thoughts from after first shots. And on this target, I was actually shooting at the 5, and this is kind of where the group was landing. Somewhere to work from. All right, back from the range at my desk, I'm going to kind of talk over what my experience was at the range and things I like, dislike about the gun. Overall, all in all, just to be frank, I really like the M&P 2.0 platform. They are great. The carry comp that I used at the range that I've been carrying for quite a while, I love that gun. It shoots really nice. The recoil impulse is pretty good. It's not snappy by any means, and it can hold its own against pretty much anything out there. How do I feel about the 2.0 metal? Pretty much about the same. I mean, it can hold its own against pretty much anything. The recoil impulse is good. It's not snappy. There is a little muzzle rise, but nothing that's, not manageable by any means. So I'm going to start basically with one of the more positive things about the M&P 2.0s or Smith & Wesson in general, which you either love it or you hate it. And that's going to be the grip texture. You either really love it or you really hate it. Or I guess you can be somewhere in the middle. One thing I never find myself doing with the M&Ps is searching for more grip. Now, do we gripe about like little things? And this would maybe be in the cons. It's, whatever. I don't know. A lot of us talk about having texture up here, and yeah, that would be great. I mean, we all want texture up there for multiple purposes, right? But all in all, to be quite honest, I never find myself searching or gripping or looking for more grip when it comes to the 2.0 platform. The texture on these palm swells and on the front strap, the texture is very, very aggressive, and it locks in your hand. This thing never moves. So even without any texture up here, this thing is not going anywhere. Now, I have not shot this one in adverse conditions when my hands are wet. or sweaty or anything like that. But I have shot the carry comp in those conditions. Now my hands have been wet, and I have had times when I was sweaty or out on a scene or dealing with something, and that carry comp with this same type of grip texture, even though it's the polymer frame, I have never found myself like, oh man, I wish I had more grip. Not once. Now, one thing I do wish that this particular model had that the carry comp does have is going to be the sights. I know I've said this before. I don't like the 3-dot setup. I prefer blacked out rear, and then a tritium or some type of yellow dot in the front. Now, this does not have that. Now, when I was out on the range, did that cause many issues? No. I was able to. Let me just show the gun is clear. I don't know if I did that, but of course, I'm not going to sit here with a loaded gun. But yeah, I never found myself searching for the dots or anything. I was able to pick it up pretty good. Now, there were a couple of times when I was aiming and I was looking at the white part of the target, and it did kind of flood out a little bit. Nothing crazy, right? So I would prefer, like I said, a yellow or tritium or something in the front. And the other thing that is really crazy, if you're going to go with a 3-dot sight system like this, at least make the front dot bigger than the back. Like they all, I don't know if I can get it lined up on camera here, but when you're looking through this, see how small that front sight looks? I mean, they're all the same size, I guess, but just looks so small. If it was at least bigger, then I guess that would be okay. But yeah, preferably just something different from the front than the back.
All right, here's a quick example of the proper setup. Manufacturers, if you're listening. All right, so here is the tritium front and blacked out rear. That sighting system is perfect. And here's another one. So we'll take a look at the Canik Mente Prime. And if you notice, see how that front white shows up pretty good? Even though it's two whites, see how small the rears are? And then look at the front, it's a lot bigger, right? It's a bigger dot. So that makes sense to make the front dot bigger than the rear ones. That way, when you look through the sighting system, it shows up. I can't get it to focus on it when they're doing like that, but the white dot at the front shows up really big. So anyway, take notes. Those are the sighting systems that we want. But even on this one, I would still prefer a yellow or green at the front as opposed to white.
Now, the fact that the sights are metal and they're pretty solid, I do appreciate that. No plastic sights. When I was racking the gun, I never had any issues with racking the gun, no matter which way I grabbed it to manipulate it. Um, I was, able to do whatever I needed to do, and it never slipped out of my hands or anything like that. So the grips, the serrations are perfectly fine, more than adequate for most uses. I'll touch on two other points and then I'll kind of wrap this thing up. The first one being the extraction pattern. I didn't notice any irregularities or anything weird with the extraction pattern, which I didn't expect because the platform is, pretty solid. And the extractors on these 2.0s, I've never had an issue with. Haven't really heard anybody having any issues with. The last thing is going to be the trigger. Now, out there on the range, the trigger was very predictable. You pull back to the wall, there is very slight movement and then it breaks. And we like to talk about resets a lot, but realistically, talking about reset, when you're out there shooting, man, you come off the trigger and you're right back on it. You're not searching for the reset. We like to do that when we're kind of playing around with the gun. I don't know, maybe it makes us feel tactical or whatever, but um, yeah, you're not searching for the reset when you're out there shooting. Now, are there times when if you're shooting fast, that you may come off the trigger and you're, thinking that it reset and you're pulling the trigger? That can happen, and you can run into that issue. That has happened to me before, not with this gun in particular, but just in shooting in general. I have run into that issue. So that is something I could potentially foresee if you're shooting fast in like a competition type setting or something like that. But in, again, my experience with this particular platform, I have never run into that. And I have not shot competition, but I have had scenarios where I've run this gun hard in tactical scenarios and stuff like that. And I have never found myself searching for that reset. So that is not something I would be concerned about. Now, if you don't own either one of these and you're trying to figure out if you should buy the metal or if you should buy the polymer frame or the carry comp, I mean, I don't know. You have to figure out what works for you. I will say that I didn't notice a big difference in the recoil as far as whether it was straight back or muzzle rise or whatever in shooting the carry comp and the metal. I will say overall that the uh, metal, I believe, if I remember correctly, felt a little bit softer um, in general. Like overall, it felt softer. But the carry comp had less felt like muzzle rise per se. It's kind of hard to really decipher it, but they pretty much balanced out to me. I did feel like I had a better grip surface because this is full size, and the carry comp that I have is a compact version, so the grip is slightly shorter. So I did feel like I had better gripping surface, which allowed me to bite down more on this gun, which maybe aided in me controlling the gun more. Look, I'm not selling anything. I don't care what you buy. You do what you want. But me personally, I do like the feel of the overall of the metal. I do like the feel of the polymer frame model as well. I like them both. Now, just in a more premium feeling type thing, I do really appreciate the way that this aluminum frame feels. Does it give you a lot of added benefit from a shooting perspective that a steel frame gun would do, like the latest model that Smith and Wesson dropped with the actual steel frame models? No, if you're looking for that to aid in competition shooting type stuff, I will go with the steel frame. But if you're looking for something that you can flex into uh, competition or into just daily use type stuff, range or whatever, this metal frame is more than adequate and will again stand up against anything out there. So that's all I got, man. For this particular video, I appreciate you guys swinging by, hanging out. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.